welcome to my very first Grab Bag Saturday video on the Art Archaeologist channel, and I'm Corey. So today we're going to be doing this pendant necklace, and I got a bunch of these cabochons at an auction a while back. I got really lucky and won them because I kept raising my hand. But these can be hard to come by, but you can get these online and you can get little mini lots of them. So that's where you can find those. I just happened to be at an auction and they just happened to be there, so I got them. And then what I put on the back is this flat bezel. And I glued this on with E6000. You definitely want to use E6000 glue because you want it to hold for years and years. Okay. So what E6000 looks like. It's pretty cheap. I'm in America, so it's about $4 for a tube of it, and it's readily available at all craft stores, probably the hardware store. Don't know about the grocery store. So go ahead and put your bezel on. And then I've got just an old gold lobster claw here that I'm going to be using for my clasp, and an old gold jump ring. A lot of these lobster claws don't come with that little eyelet thing they use to hook on, and that's just fine. You can use a jump ring. And then I'm going to be using 2 clamps. I had another one here. I'm sure it's around somewhere. So you want 2 little clamps like this for your ends. These are cord clamps. You can get those anywhere too. And then I've got just a little assortment of beads. So let's get started. I want this to be, there's my other clamp, about 9 inches long. So what I'm going to do is back you up a tad. I'm just going to take a piece of tape, about 9 1/4, okay? I'm going to give it a whack. Okay, that's roughly how long I want it. This just helps act as a guide. Now, I need my string at least double this because this is just one side, so I need at least double of that. Plus, I'm going to need more for knots. I'm tying quite a few knots in here, so let's just, I never measure. Let's go a little over 3, okay? See how that does us. Knots take up a lot of space, and you're going to need 2 of these. I like to do 2 on this style. And your beads, a quick tip about your beads, they've got to be big enough hold. I might be in trouble with this one. They've got to be big enough hold to get both of these cords through them. And then just use your first one as your guide, of course. Give that a whack. Alright, now you got the 2 together. Go ahead and put your pendant. This tape's kind of irrelevant at the moment. Weave your both cords through your pendant and even them up. This end is just going to take all these ends and kind of get them together. Doesn't have to be perfect. I gave myself plenty of cord to work with. Now I want to put my finger pretty close to this bezel here, and then I'm going to take this side. Now it doesn't matter if the bezel, you can move it right out of the way. Keep your fingers on that spot, and then I'm just going to tamp that down and pull a simple knot up to my fingers. Don't move your fingers and you'll be perfect. Okay? And pull that real tight, and if your hands cramp up or anything, just use your pliers. They're great for that. Now you want to check your bezel and you want to check the look of that. That knot is almost small enough to go through my bezel. See that? So I want to double it up, and I usually double these up no matter what. This can be a little tricky. Sometimes it wants to bounce around, but you really want those knots together in the same spot, okay? Just like that, just to give it some bulk. And that takes a little practice. It really wants to jump to the side, and I've been making jewelry for years and I still have to struggle with that. So don't feel alone if it happens to you, and it will, I should say when. Now you want to go ahead and do the other side the same exact way, but you want to guard against getting it too tight. You want to go ahead and start your knot, and you want to get it way down close, right? But you don't want it to be super, super tight. You want a tiny bit of play in there so that that stone can move a little bit. It'll make it look a lot more natural. And you want to account for the fact that you're putting in a second knot, okay? So that's a nice amount of space in between for the first knot. And you can pull that knot away a little bit to give yourself a little bit if it's a little snug. If it's a little far, you know, just pull whichever way it is. And then go ahead and do your second knot. I like grab bag Saturdays. I do so much different art. And I play with so many different mediums, so I want to explore and dig up treasures for all of them. Same thing, you just want to really mess with that and don't try not to let it fall next to itself. Okay. And at the same time, you want to get it tight, because if you don't get it tight enough and then the buyer goes to buy it, it's going to end up, they're going to pull on it or something's going to happen to make those knots be next to each other. So make sure you just do it when you're making it. Alright, now I got these cute little beads, like I said before. And this one's going to give me grief, I believe. So your best friend for doing this kind of work is spit. Spit on your ends. Get them to get your two ends together. Get them wet and twist them. So I'm going to try to make that bead work, but I don't know if it's gonna. I'm going to go ahead and put my little gold spacer bead on first. I wish I knew where I got these. I've had them for years. I'm almost to the end of them, and I couldn't tell you. Now I'm going to try. There's so many beads out there. Okay, that is not going to work. The hole is too small. I should have been paying attention better when I picked these out. I love these little tribal beads. Add spit. When in doubt, add spit. Okay. It's easier to get them both through together at the same time than to try to do one and then hold it down. And that's just way more work than I'm willing to do. And then I'm going to do my next spacer bead. And then I'm going to do these really cool little tribal gold metal beads. Now these metal beads, they have an abundance of these at Michael's. The tribal beads, I can't remember where I got them. Fire Mountain Gems is a good resource for that, and that's online. But you can get a lot of really cool metal beads at Michael's. And just, I mean, Michael's has an amazing selection of beads, and they always go on sale. So if you don't have a Michael's close, just go online. So that's going to be my pattern. Let me grab one more tribal bead because this one's not going to work, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went and got my bag of beads, and these are the other ones that kind of sort of match this one, and I don't want them perfect. I'm totally okay with them not being perfect. All the holes on these are too little. So, and I didn't even think of it when I grabbed everything for the video. Here's my baggie. I think you might be able to get these at Michael's. They really do have some pretty cool tribal looking stuff. So I've chosen these two little beads instead of one because you want the length to be close. And that's pretty kind of sort of close, right? So then I'm going to just match up my pattern. I like symmetry, but then I like something in there to shake it up and make it a little off, just for, it adds interest. And when you're doing nature inspired or tribal type art, that messiness, that not, you know, where it's not perfectly perfect and symmetrical and matchy actually works in your favor. Add and spit. And if you're worried about it, you're gonna cut these ends off anyway, so it's not a problem. Okay, so that looks very interesting, and this bead has kind of a, here, let me pull you in for a sec, has a little bit of a light blue, this little one here, light blue look, and it goes with this pendant on the top sliver, so that worked out real well. And then the top is matchy, perfectly symmetrical. So that, you know, if you have some matchy along with it, it's fine. It actually brings balance and unity to the piece, pulls everything together. I really like to shake it up. I don't like to use everything the exact same way. Okay, now that you have that, these little gold spacer beads are pretty small. So one knot is probably going to be more than enough. But you do your knot and you decide if you like the look and if it's going to be stable. You want those beads staying in place. At least I do for this style. My little puppy's playing with his toy. I apologize. And snorting. He's quite the character. Okay, so that one bead is going to hold, or that one knot is going to hold that in place perfectly, and I like the balance of the size of the knot compared to the bead it's next to. So I'm going to go ahead and let that just be one. If you like that extra bulky look, by all means do a couple. Make sure all your beads are down before you tighten down this knot. Okay. There we go. See how nice that is? And you're talking a quick, simple piece of jewelry that you can sell for a good, you know, that's a $30–$35 necklace right there. Now when I do the craft fairs, I sell these for around $20 just to move them, okay? So you've got to think about pricing. We all have to think about pricing, but look at how fast you can put this necklace together. So now what I'm going to do is now is where my tape comes in. I want this even down here. Back you up, Tad. Remember, don't count your cabochon as part of the length, okay? Go from the end of your string up to here. And what I like to do is take my little Mod Podge glue bottle and drop a dot of glue right inside that clamp, just like that. And then I'm going to hold this. I'm going to go ahead and put this clamp right there. That's where I want it to end. And then you'll have a tiny bit longer because of your clasp. So I've got this lined up down here, double check down here on this end, and then just simply pop that right into that glue pile. Loop with your fingers and come in with your pliers, and you really want to focus and make darn sure that this one side here, you want to make sure both strings are under. Okay, make sure both strings are under that one side, and then you really want to clamp down on just that one side is all you're worried about, just like in my feather charm tutorial, tribal feathers. Same thing. I like to work the same with everything. And then come in. These have little teeth in this set of pliers, and that makes this much easier. So you get a hold of that second side and just really wrench down on that as hard as you can, okay? And then take that excess string, so I wasted quite a bit, naughty naughty. Do 3 times the length of your necklace. Do 3 times the length of your tape, okay? Whack that off. I can use that for other charms, so it's not, all is not lost. And then I'm going to go ahead and I have 2 separate kinds of jump rings here. I've got, this one is like a little teeny tiny, focus. It's like a little teeny tiny keychain, okay? And I want that to be the clasp to this so that it cannot come undone. So I can even, I'm not gonna, it's making my hands cramp. And then I've got just your regular run-of-the-mill jump rings, and you're gonna need 2 of these. And if you only have one kind of jump ring, you're gonna need 3 total. So get a hold of that jump ring with your pliers. You always want to have 2 pair of pliers around. Go sideways. If you haven't seen my other videos, you want to go sideways. And then take that end you just did and pop that in there. Come back. Sometimes you got to overshoot it just a tiny bit to get it to line up. There you go. Done. Now I'm going to come in and do this other side. Same thing, I want to grab my clamp before I do anything and just, that is the pitfall to coming in tight. Then I end up out of frame. Grab your glue and just put your drop in before you mess with it. And forget about this side now. It's kind of irrelevant. You want to make sure it's lined up down here again. And then put your clamp right there on your tape so that it ends up even. I overhung the loop on the last one, so I'll do that again. Kind of hold that end in place and just pop it in. These tooth-edged pliers will mar your metal. They will, but I don't care. Because this is a tribal necklace. And marred metal looks older and more worn and even more believable. So it's fine with me. Wrench down on that as hard as you can. And look at all that charm string you've got left. Lots of times I'll just use a necklace that I like the length. I'll use that to get my measurement. So if you have a necklace, this might not be your favorite length. And the easy fix for that is just take a necklace, one side, and measure it. And let that be your guide. Okay, crack that open. Now what I want to do, and I wanted to do this before if I would have been paying attention, see what I mean, ADD. You want to pop one or the other ends on that jump ring. Dun, dun, dun. Don't forget like I did. Okay, so that's done. That side's done. This side should have been done. I got a lot of projects coming up that I want to do, and I'm going to use Grab Bag Saturdays as my excuse. And then I've got Tips and Tutorials Tuesdays too. So that one's fun too. You get a lot of cool stuff on Tuesday. So there you go. Now you have this beautiful, easy necklace, and you can sell the heck out of these. You can also give them away as gifts. These make fabulous Christmas gifts. I turn these out. I will get a few movies or turn on the Netflix and I will sit down and turn out a ton of these in an evening. Okay, real quick, real easy, real beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this Grab Bag Saturday, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button below and tap that notification bell and come on back for more. I'll see you next time, and have a great day.